Welcome to what is the final part of my ultimate color pencil drawing tutorial series. We've made it, and in this video it's going to be specifically on how I draw an ear. So if you're not caught up on what the series has been about, basically I am documenting my entire color pencil drawing process on one drawing. It's from my sister for her Christmas present. It's of the character Dean Winchester from the Supernatural series. So if you're curious on how I start my color pencil drawings, draw the background, use markers, draw an eye, draw a nose, then go check out my previous videos. But today, like I said, it's going to be all about the ear. So this is the drawing so far, and this is the ear that we are going to be finishing today, which is the last thing to do on this drawing. So we've got our reference, and we're going to zoom in on just the ear section. And some of the tools that we're going to start off with is pretty similar to how we started off drawing the nose in the last video. So the process is slightly the same in the sense that we need to clean up our sketch. I did this sketch a long time ago, and as I've worked on the rest of this drawing, my hand or a piece of paper has been resting on the sort of right hand side of the drawing, and so it's gotten a little bit messy over time. So we want to make sure that our sketch and our paper is super clean and precise to work off of, because graphite or pigment from other colored pencils getting into that area is going to be really hard to remove. So I'm going to take a kneaded eraser. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend this. Is just the Faber Castell brand. And I'm just going to pick up any pigment that I don't want on the ear. I'm not going over the sketch lines because I need those lines as my guide. So all of the other areas I want to make sure are as clean as possible. You can fold the kneaded eraser into any sort of shape that you want so you can get super precise, clean edges. I recommend more of a stamping motion than a dragging motion because the kneaded eraser, it's a little bit sticky. I don't want any of that stickiness to be dragged onto the paper because it affects the texture of the paper and how my color pencils layer on top of it. Once that's done, I'm going to go with my electric razor. This is the brand Kent. And in this area, I'm going to be even more precise and go in on the sections of the ear that are going to be the lightest, because the lightest areas are going to be the most sensitive when it comes to color pencils. With darker areas, you can kind of getting away with doing more and more layers, but with lighter areas, because the paper is already light, there's only so many layers that you can do. If there's graphite or, like I said, other colored pencil pigment on those light areas, that's going to affect how light I can go with my colored pencils. So I'm going to make sure it's as clean as possible so I can get a clean result. It's going to be on this tip of this ear here. And through this part here too, and definitely here. Now that's all nice and clean and I can see the lines that I originally drew in for the sketch, I'm going to make sure that those lines are actually correct, as I did the sketch a long time ago and I did the whole thing in one go. Now that I'm being a little bit more specific and just targeting the ear, I want to make sure that that ear is perfect. So I'm going to grab just a mechanical pencil. I think this is the same mechanical pencil that I used when I did the sketch. It's just a cheap, big 0.5mm pencil. I very loosely have a grid still in this area, like I can sort of see where the lines were originally, so I'm going to have the gridded version up on my iPad here. So I think, hi! I think there was a line here. I think there was a line here. Alright, I'm really glad I did that actually, because there was a lot of things wrong with it, so that's really good. So now we can get into actually drawing. First thing is, we are obviously going to start with the darkest first. I've said this every single video because it's the furthest away from the white of the paper and it's a lot closer to our reference photo. But this ear should technically be the best thing about this drawing because every other section on this paper is filled in just like it is on the reference, so I have the best context to draw from that I didn't have in any other section because there were spots of the paper that were white, that really bright white. So technically this should be the best part of the drawing. So the darkest first is definitely going to be the shadows of the ear. When I was doing the study on this reference photo, I talked about this in the very first part, but I changed a lot of things about the original photograph just to make it my own and what I wanted the piece to look like, and I enhanced a lot of the colors, specifically red. And in the shadows of the ears, I really emphasized and pushed the red tones. And I might even push it a little bit further as I'm drawing compared to the reference. So I'm going to grab the brightest red that I have, which is this. Oh my god. Caren Lumrot Hell. That sounds awful. And I'm going to, using circle motions, draw in this red section of the ear using this very strangely named color. Now this red part of the ear is super red because of what we call subsurface scattering, which I talked about a lot in my previous video, but it's basically when light shines through something, it kind of creates a glow around it and really brings out that color of that object or person. So if you ever hold your hand up to a light, the light shines through your hand and creates this glow. That's really evident in both of these ears. So you can look over at his ear here, you can see how bright red that red is. So I'm just going to bring in some orange as well to create a glow, and I'm going to bring that more on the outer part of the ear, as here is going to be probably the darkest, and then it's going to get lighter as we go towards the edge. So in saying that, I'm going to grab some yellow. The same thing is going to be happening in this part of the ear down here. I really need to know the anatomy of an ear, but I really don't. I only know where like my piercings are. But this area down here where you get a conch piercing is going to be the same thing. So I'm going to start off with my bright red. And like I said, I might make it a little bit brighter than it is in the reference photo. And because there's certain areas of this ear that are really bright white, I want to try and reserve that as early on as possible. Sometimes I will work on an area and then I'll get that pigment over onto the really bright white parts of my drawing, and no matter how much of my electric razor I use, I cannot get it back. And so I'm going to try and block it in because the wax of the pencils almost create like a barrier. So in saying that, I'm going to grab a bright white Faber Castell. I think this one is new. I went shopping. I'm going to clean up those areas one more time, and I'm just going to block out those areas. Pressing pretty hard because, like I said, I just want to block it out, so I'm pretty much burnishing, pressing really hard so that no pigment can get through. Definitely some over here. All the colors I'm using are very, very light in value. The darkest value range is basically just a mid-tone. I wouldn't even consider that being a dark value. So it's really, really important what colors I choose, and more important what value I choose, because if I go too dark, it's going to be very hard to bring that lighter. This red here is probably the darkest that I'm going to go. This is Permanent Brown from the Caren Luminance color pencil set. And that's basically just going to be here. But again, I'm not going to go much darker than this. This is pretty much the darkest I'm going to go. Maybe a little bit in here. And that is it. I really don't want to push this too dark. I really like this color. This is, oh my god, why are these names so hard? Anthraquincio Pink. I'm not even gonna try. It's just like a really nice pink. Caren series. I'm going to include a brown now just for this area of the ear. This area isn't going to be hit with much sunlight, so it's not going to be super glowy. So I can go in with the brown, which is desaturated, carve that in because that's going to be attached to the side of the head, so that's not going to get much light. Therefore, it won't be super saturated and glowy. And this sort of curve, like I said, the area where you get like a conch piercing is curved, and I really want to create that form, so it's going to be darker here, and it's progressively going to get lighter as you rise to the top. And I'm really trying to get that form down. I would say practicing how to draw an ear is super, super important. Yes, you can copy it from the image, and if you make it exactly the way that it is, that's fine. But drawing an image and also thinking about how your own ears look as you look in the mirror and you notice your own ears and the form of the ear, understanding that will help your drawing be better. 100%. In real life, as you're talking to somebody, I've noticed the way the light hits their face, or specifically how the subsurface scattering comes through their ear. And as I'm talking to them, I'm just like totally just fixated on their glowing red ears as I sit behind a window or something. And because it's so engaging and seeing those things in real life, that's why I bring it into my drawings, because I know that it's really cool that our bodies do that, and that's how it interacts with light. And knowing that this subject is in the outdoors, there's light hitting him from all around, seeing the reference and noticing some subsurface scattering, and then bringing in what I've noticed in real life and how much I love those glowing ears. I bring the two and I exaggerate them. So yes, it is about, photorealism and getting it as realistic as possible, but it's also about engaging with the real world and bringing that into your drawings. So yes, this tutorial is about how to draw an ear, and I'm probably going to name the video like how to draw an ear or something like that. But how I draw an ear just doesn't stop there, and how you draw an ear just doesn't stop there, because the ear is a symbol on bringing the outside world in, something that photography can't really do because it's more of a 2D representation of real life, whereas we can make it a combination of real life by bringing in those elements and those observations that we take note of into our drawing using a photo reference. How I draw this ear is the same how I draw the eye or the hair or the jacket or the chin. It's the same process, just with a different anatomy. Now we're going to go ahead and work on some of this hairline part here, which you saw last video. I notoriously don't like to draw hair, so we're just going to try and go as fast as we can. So we're going to try and get through this, and I'll try not to crash out. I really need a sharp pencil for hair, so I'm going to sharpen my pencils. So, using my proportions for the ear, I'm just going to draw out some hair pieces so that hair comes down, sort of tucks under here, the one that comes up, and goes under here, and then you just do that 1,000,000 times. And no shade to the actor, but I'm going to use some gray. I don't think he actually has any gray in his hair, but I'm going to use some gray and tone back some of the color, because hair is pretty, unless it's like really bright, a really bright color, it's pretty desaturated, I would say. So I use a lot of gray. I'm going to take a white color pencil and I'm just going to create some stray hairs, just so it looks like hair and not this like glob on the side of his head. Alright, I think that's pretty good and pretty much all I'm willing to do, so I'm joking, it looks fine. Like I really wouldn't do much more to it. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. The ear also doesn't have much to do either. This is a really small section of the drawing, so it's gone pretty quickly actually. I'm just gonna add some final highlights to the rim of this ear here, so this section here is pretty bright. So I'm just going to press again really hard and try and make that as bright as possible. And again, making the highlight around the ear also really bright. If you got that rim light around the subject, it looks like a movie poster, so I'm going to try and bring a little bit of that into it, but also, still making it look like he's part of the environment and it's not a super staged photograph. Just want him to pop off the page a little bit. Okay, so at this point, I'm basically just going back and forth between my colors and my values, and just layering those values and colors until I get to a point where I feel like I'm ready to, what I call, lock it in, which is where you start to burnish, which is when you layer and layer and layer, and then you hit a threshold and you can't really put another layer on top of that. That's called like the burnishing stage. So currently I'm at that in certain parts of the ear. I feel like I've hit a point where I'm happy with that section, and I can go in with one color or two colors and just press really hard and set it in and lock it in, because then I can't really put another layer on top of that, so it's kind of locked in. So let's do an example of this. I'm probably going to pick this little section here. I'm pretty happy with the values and the colors, so I'm going to take this brown pencil, which is sort of a mid-tone value of my section, and just pressing a little bit harder and using circle motions, of course, just going to lock that in. It's important to be slow with this process, because when you know that there's an area that's locked in, you don't typically go back to it unless it's like super obviously wrong, so you want to make sure that it's as rendered as it could be. And using circle motions, I've explained this before, but it's one of those techniques to achieve the skin texture that you want. Skin is really smooth, and using circle motions is the best way to achieve a smooth texture. If you're doing something like hair for a person or for an animal, that's a bit of a different type of texture. And so I would use something maybe like up and down motions for that. And now I'm definitely pressing as physically hard as I can to bring out this highlight in this section here. So again, using circle motions, just pressing really hard to bring out that highlight. I'm gonna blend it with the rest of the face, just so it looks a little bit more part of the rest of the scene and connected. Just gonna film the last touch-ups of the drawing. Crazy. And there we go. Easy peasy. All right. There we go. Fini. At this point, I go off and I spray a couple of coats of varnish. I'll put on the screen what varnish I use, just to lock it in. It also kind of evens out a lot of the colored pencil texture and some of the wax bloom also. So I highly recommend you doing that, and also it protects the work as well. I have a tutorial on how I do that on my Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So if you're interested in how I use the spray varnish and how I do that to my colored pencil drawings, then go check out that video. But I want to say thanks if you have watched any of the tutorials. I really enjoyed making them. I know they're not the most riveting thing on YouTube out there, but I thoroughly enjoyed making them, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching them too. If you learned anything, please let me know. I would like to know what information I gave out there that was helpful that people didn't know, and maybe I can make a separate video just on that. So I'd love to know your feedback. If you have any questions about any of the techniques that I used or any of the techniques I used in the previous videos, please feel free to ask me. I love talking all things colored pencils, so you're definitely not bothering me with anything. Please ask. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.